Hi there, and a very warm welcome on a cold day in Edinburgh to my new video series, The Living Legacy. Thank you so much for coming today. Hopefully, as you know, my name is Cameron Murdoch. But before I start, I actually want to go through a checklist with you, just to make sure that you're watching the right video for you and that it's the right time for you to watch it. In the next 6 months, are you really wanting to earn a six-figure sum? Did you come today because you're desperate for the answer and hoping someone will give it to you? Are you looking for success and striving for it? Do you value perfection? Do you want to stay young and are scared of growing old and are not willing to accept it? Or are you here to try and get the latest social media trends where people are pointing all over the screen and distracting from the real situation? If that's what you're looking for, then this is not the video for you, and I am not the coach for you. So please do not continue watching. However, do you see money as just a small part of your life, a life that you want to be more balanced, where money doesn't consume all your energies? Do you want to maybe define your life differently, or to go deeper and to find who you are truly meant to be? Or do you want to change your life and live it in your terms, not actually living it with what everybody else wants you to do? Do you value honesty, integrity and hard work? And do you like plain talk? Do you like to sit down and chat to someone who is kind, caring, compassionate? Then I am the coach for you, and this is the video for you to watch as you discover how to live your legacy. But as we get started, the first thing I want to share with you is I like to be me. I don't like to be something else, or to pretend to be perfect, or to pretend to be something I'm not. I like to feel comfortable. I actually like to grow old. I actually like who I am. I don't like to put on makeup and to make myself look perfect. I like to always be me and to show me for who I am, as I am today. So now that we have gone through the introductions and you can see the real me and who I am on a daily basis, I don't like pretending to be someone else, as I've said. So why did I want to do a series on living legacy? Why do I feel it's important to me and to everyone on the planet? And I should say I'm no expert in this. This is all just through life's learnings. My daily work is I'm a coach. I help people to achieve, to work towards goals, to find themselves, to look deeper. I support them to deal with problems. I also am a jewellery designer, so I love designing, I love creating, I love making. I used to be a musician. I also used to work in a university for 20 years. I've had such a varied career, but yet it's taken me this long to feel like I'm becoming who I really am. And I want to give you just a bit of the backstory of that, to help hopefully inspire you. Now what I would say is that in the coming weeks, the normal videos from next week onwards will just be 3 minutes max. They won't be long videos. This one is longer because I want to introduce myself to you. I want you to get to know me, and hopefully that my story and these videos can actually in some way support you, inspire you, or just make you think about your own legacy, your own life, who you really are, what you want to become and what you want to achieve and what you want to leave. So, just to start off, for many years I have had beautiful gifts given to me, warnings, shouting at me, appreciate life more, think about what you want more, and I never really listened to them, and I'll go back to them in a minute. But in the last few years I have been trying to be something I'm not. So I'm a coach. You won't really hear a lot of coaches talk about openly about being coaching, about the difficulties, about the challenges. You'll hear coaches go on about how they achieve six-figure sums, and that seems to be increasing in social media at the moment. I am getting daily posts on LinkedIn from other coaches saying, do you want to increase your clients? Do you want to have 30 clients by the end of the month? Do you want to be taking in £50,000 a month? Everything's about more, 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 more. And actually, a lot of coaches are similar, but coaches, we're human. We also feel the pressures. And over the last few years, the life as a coach has been taking me away from my own true legacy. I have felt guilty that I didn't want to earn six-figure sums. But yet I'm pulled away from my own legacy. And over the last few months, I have just decided I'm no longer going to let my peers, other coaches, other influences, coronavirus, anything, my own health, anything that crops up, I don't want things to take me away, to pull me away, to distract me like a wave from my own purpose, my own legacy. So, warts and all, I want to just introduce myself. So I grew up in the northeast of Scotland in a small fishing village. 1976 I was born, so into the 70s and 80s I grew up in the north of Scotland. Now, for the first 17 years of my life, I grew up in an amazing town and village. My family were liked, we were loved and appreciated. My mum and dad supported other people, we supported people back. It was a lovely community. But what people didn't realise was, for the first 17 years of my life, me and my family, I was abused by my alcoholic father for 17 years. But I wasn't allowed to be me. I wasn't allowed to express that. I had to suppress it. I had to be something different to survive, to get through that traumatic time. I'll openly say, I'm gay. And I was a gay man literally growing up in a fishing village where, again, I had to be something else. I had to be a man, and I had to fit in and blend into the local surroundings, into the local community where these things weren't discussed, and I had to conform to society and to law, etc. Again, I wasn't allowed to be me. At the age of 18, thankfully my mum and dad got divorced, and I went off to train as a concert pianist, which I did. I loved music. Music was my voice, it was my passion, it's how I communicated, it's how I dealt with the abuse, it's how I found myself. It was just really how I talked to the world. But at the age of 32, I was diagnosed with my first cancer, and I lost the ability to play because in one touch of a operation with a few hours, I was paralysed initially from the neck down, and then over a few weeks my right side came back but my left side didn't. And during that months and years of dealing with paralysis, I had to find myself. I had to forget old habits. I had to retrain my body. I had to connect to fingers and arms, and I had to look after myself more, and I had to find a new me and find a different way to communicate with the world. And I did. And actually, after being a musician, I worked in higher education for a while, for nearly 17 years. I managed a big team and millions of pounds in money and budgets, and worked 14 hours a day. Now, you would think after the first cancer, after the paralysis, after losing the ability to play the piano and communicate who I was, you'd think I would take time out and think and reflect. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live a quieter life, or I want to appreciate life, or I want to live my legacy. But no, I got caught up in the rat race again. I worked 14-hour days. It was all about money and promotions, and within a few years I was promoted, and you know, I was getting 5-figure sums of wages and 50,000, etc., and working 14-hour days, and again making myself ill. for no thanks, for no appreciation. And I loved it. I've loved all the work I've ever done. But what I realised fundamentally was it wasn't me. But I burnt out. So I then left that job, but then started to get ill again with another cancer. And at that time, 2016, I decided to retrain. So I retrained in jewellery design and silversmithing and focused more on creativity and finding a new voice. And then after a while, they did more tests and they discovered what was wrong. I was actually diagnosed with cancer again, pancreatic cancer. But at the same time, my mum was diagnosed with cancer. Originally, she was told she had a hernia, and it turned out to be womb cancer and bowel cancer. But by the time it was diagnosed, she only had about a few weeks left to live. And that was really traumatic. Here was my mum, my angel in life, the person who tried to protect me from the abuse, was ill with cancer again for her second time, at the same time that I was ill with my cancer again for my second time. But I decided to go up north to the north of Scotland and nurse her in our last 3 weeks of her life, along with my brother. And it was the best 3 weeks I've ever spent. It was a beautiful wake-up call, but it was also a beautiful, cherished time with my mum. She accepted her approaching death with elegance, with pride, with humanity, with strength, passion, faith and laughter. She, in effect, had 3 different cancers probably at the time of her death, but yet she laughed and smiled every day until the last day. And spending that last 3 weeks of time with her, of touching her skin, of cherishing her breath, not just the words she said, but how she said it, how she spoke. Suddenly I started to realise I'd spent the last few years of my life, I was frightened of dying, I was scared of dying. I'd been that my whole life. Losing Mum, which was the hardest thing to go through, and also the thing I'd always feared, losing Mum, she gave me a gift when she left, which was I was no longer scared of dying. I was scared of not living. And some of you watching this will have heard my story before. But actually it's now gone on, and I'm still going through cancer at the moment. I'm still dealing with treatment. I've also just had COVID, which has affected everything. But as I said, recently I was in a situation that I thought, well, I'm not good enough. I'm a coach, but I'm not achieving what all my peers are achieving. I'm not achieving that 6-figure sum. I'm not having 30-odd clients on a waiting list to come to me. And I just realised, but it's because I don't want it. I've done all that. I'm older. I've done wanting success. But success to me now, success is different for everybody. It's a word that can't be defined. I've stopped using it. I never use it with clients. Who wants success? I would rather have fulfillment and happiness. I want to slow down. I want to appreciate things. And I'm not being morbid, but everything I've been through, what I've realised is I could have a year left. I could have 20 years left. But I want to use it wisely. I want to use it for my legacy. And that's why I've started to do this video series. Because in the next few weeks and months, I am going to be going on my own journey to discover my legacy. And I want to live it, and I want to take you with me so you can hopefully be inspired or to even touch upon your own legacy. Because I want to read something to you. This is not just from the heart. This affects business people. It's not just about, people who are looking at their life. This is people in business as well. This affects everybody. Now, we've all heard of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs actually wrote something before he passed away himself. And I'm going to read just a bit to you. Steve Jobs, as you know, he died a billionaire He was 56-year-old, and this was some of his words. I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In some others' eyes, my life is the epitome of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, my wealth is only a fact of life that I was accustomed to. At this moment, lying in my bed and recalling my life, I realized that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in years to achieve became meaningless in the face of my death. You can employ someone to drive the car for you, make money for you, but you cannot have someone beat your sickness for it. And he goes on to say more, but I'll skip. He then goes on to say, whether you fly first class or economy, if the plane goes down, you go down with it. Therefore, I hope you realise, when you have mates, buddies and old friends, brothers and sisters who you chat with and laugh with and talk with, and have sing-songs with and talk about north and south and east and west and travel and heaven, that you do it with true happiness and kindness. It really impacted on me, that, because even a man who was a billionaire, who everybody probably thought had everything, on his deathbed, he had very little that he was happy about with regards to his achievements. What he realised was that his family and friends and his legacy was more important. And that's just one of the reflections on where I'm at. I want to live my life every day with honesty and truth, with integrity, with being 100% me, with not trying to let the waves of society, with new trends of trying to be the best at everything and trying to have millions of pounds. I don't want that to affect who I am and my own legacy and how I travel with it. So hopefully this series in the next few weeks and months will help you too. Doesn't matter whether you're a creator, whether you're a director, a manager, whether you are a chef, whether you are work on an aeroplane. It doesn't matter what you do in your life. Or if you can't work due to disability. I've been there. If you're going through cancer, it doesn't matter what your situation is or what your circumstances is or what your finances are. Legacy isn't just for the wealthy. A legacy is what you leave behind. You know, how you define legacy, in the Oxford Dictionary, a legacy is something you normally leave of wealth. But actually it can be something you also leave, such as your stories, your beliefs, your values, your love. But actually, someone said something wise to me a few weeks ago. If you were going to sell your business or sell a house, would you really wait until the night before to financially invest in it, to put money in, to increase the valuation? You wouldn't. You would take years or months to do that to that business, or weeks or months to do that to your property before you sell it. So why do we expect to get to the end of our life having never really prepared or worked or acknowledged or cherished or lived our legacy? So this is where I'm at. I want to now live my legacy. I'm encouraging all you guys to start living yours too. I know, and I'm not the expert, and all of you probably are already touching on your own legacies in your different ways. But the reason I'm doing this series is to shine a light on it, to actually also deal with daily topics. So for instance, next week's topic I'm going to deal in a very short video. I'm going to look at honesty. And each week there'll be a different theme to bring you closer to your own living legacy and who you are and what you're going to leave. I want to finish this session though on a note of reflection, to inspire you to go off and think about, who are you? Where have you come from? Who do you want to be? And the best way to start to think about that is, and it's not a morbid question people might think it is, but I ask myself this question on a daily basis with many decisions I have to take. You know, if you want to invest money, or if you want to just cook a meal, or what you're going to do next, or if you want to help someone, or I often ask myself the question, if I wasn't here tomorrow, if I died tomorrow, Would I be happy with that words I've just used? Would I be happy with that conversation I've just finished? Would I be happy with how I've left that? Would I be happy with what I've achieved or what I've done? So ask yourself the question before next week. Ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would I be happy with who I am today and what I have today or what I've said today? So, my note of reflection to you to help you think, as I wrote a poem last night to read today. I'm not a poet. I'm very creative, but I'm not a poet. I'm also dyslexic, I should say. But I've written this to hopefully inspire you. So it's called A Lost Legacy. As I lie in bed, there are many truths left unsaid. Stories never told, routines never broken, love never embraced, chances never taken. Apologies never given, the past never amended, food never tasted, letters never written. Choices never decided, feelings never expressed, hands never shaking, kisses never placed. Steps never walked, grief never honoured, words never spoken, pride never swallowed. Glances never caught, people never met, doors never opened, promises never kept. Regret now prevails, the clock slowly stops, last breath exhaled, my legacy is lost. Think about all the things in life that you want to do and haven't, and think about it on a positive note. Reflect on your life and where you want to be, and we'll catch up next week. Lovely seeing you here today. Have a good week and take care. Bye for now.